I'm reading some fun theories about anything and everything. So let's get into it. These stories I got from the r/fantheories page on Reddit. The stories may have been edited a bit for clarity and spelling. This first one is coming from u/seaworthiness number 1173 and is titled Donkey Kong Bananza, is Donkey Kong going to hell? Okay. First of all, you may say Donkey Kong hell? The layers in the game are challenging. While yes, it is a Donkey Kong game, it's oddly meant for just him. He gets to turn into a buff gorilla, ostrich, zebra, elephant, snake, so clearly it's something to do with DK. Maybe this hell is made for him specifically. Each layer represents things DK is guilty of. Tell me more. Here's examples. The lagoon layer is to punish his anger and learn to control it. For example, when one banana is stolen, DK goes berserk. Hilltop is to punish his cockiness as a king of his island by making it mostly empty compared to other kingdoms. So it means DK is more a king of nothing. Yikes, that's harsh. Converge is meant to punish DK for not thinking about his actions, as in this level, there is a decision he must make. Freezer layer is meant to punish his laziness. DK isn't known for being very active, so it's meant to punish him by him needing to move. I mean, I think DK moves a lot in every game, doesn't he? Race layer is to punish him for being a sore loser and not accepting his defeats. My theory? The characters he sees aren't the real versions, but rather versions meant for just him. After all, they say they had to save DK twice, and knowing DK, that would anger him. Yeah, DK is a really showy character that cares about his self-image. Remember him in the Mario movie? Feast layer is to punish his gluttony. Here, he needs to work to make the burger. King K. Rool and his Kremlings are here, in the deepest layer. Maybe DK killed him for real sometime after Jungle Climber, but before Bananza, and he ended up in hell also. Ooh, that's interesting. So each layer seems to punish DK in one way until he atones. Then he can go on to the next layer to get forgiven. At the end, the Banandium root looks like a Bible throne angel who's here to save DK from hell and bring him back to life after he passed his trials. Now, other things. Unlike other games where you die and nothing happens, here you leave a gold statue of DK, implying that DK literally does die, but just gets revived so he can't escape hell, and he dies over and over again. Dark. The Snake Bananza has arms, meaning DK is becoming free from sin. In the Bible, the serpent had limbs until it sinned. DK having arms implies he's getting more sinless. Pauline is here as a kid because it's not Pauline. It's a young angel guiding DK. Her song can remove void metal, an analogy for removing evil. Are you okay, OP? This is an intense theory. How would DK be in hell in the first place? Simple. He died during the start of the cave, and since DK wasn't really virtuous, he went to hell. That was wild. I don't know if I agree with that one, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I just got finished watching this K-drama called Heaven Ever After. This fan theory reminds me of that. I wonder if OP got his ideas for this theory by watching it. We have time for one more. This one is a theory about the 1997 movie Titanic, written by u/Hootran9000 It's called Titanic. 1997 is secretly about the destruction of the American working class. Okay, I hear you. Go on. Just rewatch the film through the lens of modern geopolitics, class warfare, and James Cameron's wider body of work. I have a decidedly darker interpretation of the ending now that I've watched it as an adult, so buckle up. Okay, buckled. First, the real life sinking of the Titanic. There has always been some mystery and speculation about exactly how it happened. More modern conspiracy theories offer reasons it may have been intentionally sunk, etc. I've never heard anyone relate these ideas to the 1997 film, but it does depict some weird details. Like the scene where the crewmate points out that icebergs will be hard to see with such low winds. The captain has this really weird reaction to that guy and he shuffles away after ordering full speed ahead. There's also a part where the crew are mentioning the conspicuously missing binoculars that the lookouts normally use. Also, the camera lingers on certain surviving characters that seem to be filled with guilt. What if the movie is subtly depicting the theory that the Titanic was intentionally sunk to get rid of several key figures in finance and politics that were aboard? The theory states that without opposition, the cabal of elite businessmen were able to create the Federal Reserve and effectively take control of currency away from the people. There's one scene where Billy Zane is discussing the Sherman Act, an anti-monopoly law. Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan are briefly discussed as competitors. This ties the movie itself to the conspiracy. Outside any of these fictional characters, and outside the sinking of the ship itself, imperialism and American capitalism will rise, overturning safeguard laws, etc. Whether or not this conspiracy is truly part of the lore, I don't know. But either way, the movie seems to be a tragic look at the death of the working class. The sinking sequence symbolizes the violent descent of the American dream. The working class scrambles, fights among themselves, and ultimately is destroyed. During the orchestrated collapse, the peasants are soothed by religion, music, and alcohol. Here's the dark interpretation of the ending. Go on. We don't know much about Rose's life, or much about her daughter/daughters. All we know is that she kept the diamond hidden the entire time. She didn't need it financially. The implications is that she held on to it for sentimental reasons. And that's what she lets go of at the end. The image of the lavish ballroom of the Titanic, juxtaposed with Jack, everyone cheering their love on. The idea that her passion for someone like Jack can coexist with this world. She finally was able to process the traumatic story and let go of the secret she'd held on to for so long. She actually broke her promise to never let go of the passion. She chose money and stability. She picked a life raft and played the game. Of course, she still loves the lovable poor guy, but she ultimately chose to marry for stability. To fall in love with the American working class is to hitch yourself to a sinking ship. I think it's interesting that we only see Rose's daughter. Ultimately, she chose her family. She mentioned earlier the deep meaning she found in motherhood. Oof. So in this interpretation, Titanic is actually a story about the systemic destruction of the American working class and a woman's critical decision of chasing love or money. It takes Rose her whole life to process that contrast. Titanic is a depiction of a woman doing everything she can to hang on to love, but learning that it's impractical and impossible. When she finally says it out loud, she realizes that both she and this treasure guy are both holding on to something for the wrong reasons. She let go of the weight for both of them. Titanic is a movie about greed destroying relationships and entire countries. It leads into a timeline where secret police lead glorified attacks in Middle East nations in true lies. The events of the Titanic led directly into our real-life timeline, where the elites have all but drained the middle class, and the events led directly into the Avatar timeline, where companies own everything. Yikes, you kind of lost me on this one. I can understand how the Titanic may have been sank to get rid of certain people so that others could create the Federal Reserve, but the rest? Nah. Rose was definitely in love with and would have chosen Jack if he had lived. She gave up on the money and chose him before the ship sank. I think at the end of the movie, she was giving the necklace back to him symbolically by dropping it in the water. She thought she wasn't going to live much longer, and she would rather keep it with her memories rather than just sell it for money, proving that in the end, love was more important to her than money. Well, that was a lot. What did you think? Let me know if you agree with these theories or maybe you have one of your own. Drop them in the comments down below. Until next time, my friends, bye. But hey, that's just a theory. This isn't that channel? I really need to get an outro. Subscribe and smack that ding-a-ling if you want more.